Questions from members? Recently, we took out, we talked about federal transparency. We took that out. You understand? The working papers is part of our FOIA now. And the working papers are already protected in government office in our area. This extends to the cabinet secretary, this is to the cabinet secretary. Originally, it was a lot broader than that, and I agree with you. It was a lot different situation than what you talked about. But you and any other that will come up here, don't compare what's on this black and white page to what was yesterday. But we are here to deal with the call. So limit it to that one thing is not really a call. So that's our job is the legislative body. And so we would call it the front of your testimony. Thanks, sir. If you would just introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. My name is Robert Steinbuck. I'm a professor of law, columnist for the Democrat Gazette, and the author of the treatise on the Freedom of Information Act. I appreciate the significant changes we made to the bill from the last three. I want to talk about two provisions that remain, and I want to clarify facts. I'm not here to give you opinions. You've got your own opinions. And you're elected to express your opinions. So let's talk first about the attorney's fees provision. Most of the changes to the attorney's fees provision, as Senator Fisker Act points out, deals with repealing a provision enacted in 2021. It's not an important provision. Take it out. Why is it not important? Because it was a reflection of case law. So it put in statutory language case law. But there was a huge change in the provision dealing with attorney's fees. Page 4, and we've talked about it with Senator Tucker. Page 4, line 3 and 4. This bill adds a new requirement when you go to court to get attorney's fees. The old rule from 1987-ish has always been that you must substantially prevail. That line there is not new. I mean, it's been moved around. That's why it's there. But the concept of requiring winning, and the language is substantially prevailing, is not new. And it's correct. When a citizen brings a FOIA suit, if he substantially prevails, he may ask to receive attorney's fees. That's effectively what we've seen when we discuss tort reform as the loser pays. When the government loses, it pays the attorney's fees of the other side. That's the conservative principle in tort reform. Loser pays. The addition of the language that says, in addition, now, after winning, the plaintiff must show that the government was arbitrary or acted in bad faith, is a mountain, it's not a hill, it's Everest to overcome. It's virtually impossible to overcome. Because how do you do it? How do you decide if Clark Tucker isn't turning over records to me, that he's acting in an arbitrary fashion or in bad faith? I picked him because he's my senator. I'm a Republican, but nonetheless, I live in this. So, whether by choice or not, he's my senator. He's a good man as well.
So just one thing.
Yes, sir.
Right now, A is not in there, right?
A is in there, in substance, yes.
And is it in the law?
Yeah.
A.
The notion of substantially prevail?
No, I'm talking about our laws right now.
That's right.
A in our laws.
That notion is in our law because you crossed out.
Was that not changed in 2021?
No, that was not changed. That came about in 67.
In
87.
2021 was changed.
2021 was this notion, it's called the, I forget the name of the theory, the analyst theory. voices in my head are quite loud. And the county,
Please keep it down.
so there was always a question. If I make a records request and the government doesn't provide, any government, state, local, and this happens much more on the local level than it does on the state level. So, just slide this up a bit, if I may. For all the things that you do just at the state level, this is one that you should really consider that division. But coming back, so I bring a lawsuit, I show up to court, and on the courthouse steps they say, we give, right? And they turn over the records to me. Throughout the country, because most of the country has similar laws, they reflect this notion that, well, I substantially prevailed. Right? If it wasn't for that lawsuit, they wouldn't have given me the records. That's the catalyst. The lawsuit was the catalyst, chemistry, to create the outcome. And then I get to get attorney's fees. In fact, this was such an important point that in the federal FOIA, there was some language going back 20 or more years that caused concern that the catalyst theory wouldn't be applied because of a wholly unrelated case. That conservative Republican senator from Texas introduced a bill to say, oh, no, substantially prevailed. That is, the catalyst theory applies to the federal FOIA. So that's been the law across the country. In fact, it's been the law in Arkansas. People got attorney's fees for cases that didn't go to judgment, but settled for years. Then the University of Arkansas decided that wasn't the law, and they proclaimed it. And they went to court and said, there's no such rule in Arkansas. You know, the old joke about us being behind by 10 years. That's behind by 30 years. So that was their argument. And that's why Senator Dan Sullivan and Senator Clark Tucker wrote a small bill to say, no, it really doesn't. You want to take it up? Take it up, no problem. The addition of the language that says arbitrary or bad faith means effectively a litigant doesn't get his attorney's fees, even after winning, because it's virtually impossible to prove. And it's the opposite of the theory that conservatives have argued for in tort reform, which is who's remains.